Rob, I was on a mission. I went into the field today for Ruminate because I saw a 9 to 5 Mac today that the Chick-fil-A app is now available in CarPlay. And I thought, for the glory of the show, I would order a chicken sandwich on my car, from my car in CarPlay, and film it and have it here and ready to talk to you about. But you know what? It was all a lie. Because although I could get the Chick-fil-A app to show up in CarPlay, when I tapped the icon, it said, "We're working on it. It's not available yet." So I don't know. I couldn't tell from the 9 to 5 Mac story whether Chance Miller, who wrote it, had access to the app and it was working for him, and it was just a regional thing where it works where he lives but not where I live, or what it was. But I was very, very disappointed. But stay tuned. I will go out in my car every day until I can order that chicken sandwich for the Ruminate audience.
And everybody appreciates it. One thing that occurs to me, like, don't you have to get like a special entitlement for CarPlay?
You do. And Rob, I was sure that there was no way that Apple, that one of the, there's like categories that are permitted. You have to apply. It's very like a special thing. Not only do you have to apply, but they only approve certain categories, so they're not going to allow you to have like video conferencing apps. Although I think they may have some where they do audio only. But anyway, they wouldn't let you do video where you would actually be looking at a screen or a movie app, for instance. They wouldn't let you do that. And I was sure that certainly you wouldn't be able to order food while you're driving down the road. Turns out that is an allowed category, and there are 4 apps that are approved, at least 4 that are reported on by 9 to 5 Mac. There's Panera. What else was there? Oh, hold on. I actually took a screenshot of this, and I sent it to Federico earlier today. Domino's Pizza, Dunkin' Donuts, Panera, and soon Chick-fil-A. So 4 total.
Right. Oh, and it does actually say they're not functional yet. So, which I guess is what you were saying.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Although the article that Chance wrote, there were screenshots of it, and he said in the article, one of the downsides is you can't order just anything. You have to have saved favorites, I think, or reorder past orders. And one of the funny things was when I downloaded the app, back when I lived in Illinois, I had downloaded the app at some point to take advantage of some sort of, cheap food or something like that. And I hadn't had that app on my phone for probably at least 2.5 years. But lo and behold, I downloaded it and all my information was still in there. You wonder how many servers must my data still be on for these apps and things that I download from time to time.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you download way more apps than I do. It's just a record of your chicken order on some server.
It's true.
Been there for years.
It has been. It was like it was last used in like 2021 or something. But one of my kids told me that, we have family sharing, of course. And he said you can't, there's no search field for past purchases. And he said it's too hard to find apps on my account because there are too many apps in the history.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But enough of this chicken nonsense, John. It's Biscuit Week. It's Biscuit Week.
It is Biscuit Week. Here I am going rambling on about chicken when we've got Biscuit Week on tap. What's going on with Biscuit Week?
Well, I went out as I want to do, to look for little treats for Ruminate, and I came away with 4 different biscuits. These are all These are all they're all seasonal. One of them is a Halloween themed bourbon biscuit, and the other ones are Christmas themed. So the Halloween ones, they say brain filled, but I think it's just like raspberry or something. I don't think it's actual brains.
I hope not.
And then I've got 2 different gingerbread ones. I've got gingerbread digestives and gingerbread custard creams. And then the last one is a bourbon biscuit, but with a Black Forest flavor. Does Black Forest mean anything to you? It occurs to me I don't know if that means anything.
Like a Black Forest cake, as opposed to a...
Yes.
Yes, like a very dark chocolate cake, right?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. As opposed to like Black Forest ham or something. I think that's also a thing.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I don't think I've heard of that, but I'll take your word for it.
All right.
It's been disappointing, I'll be honest.
Really?
Now, the gingerbread digestives, they're very good.
I like gingerbread.
Digestives, that's like a top quality biscuit.
Yeah.
So with the gingerbread flavor, with the chocolate, very good. The other three, there's not enough flavor to them. It's more of a hint of a flavor. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot extra than I would if I just bought the standard versions of these biscuits, which is a real shame. I mean, I bought 4 of these things. I was really hoping for a bit more of a, smorgasbord, if you will, of flavors of these biscuits.
You're hoping for more than just marketing on the packaging is what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these have clearly these, the people who make these biscuits are listening to Ruminate, and they've made these explicitly for us.
This is like a siren song for you. But the reality is that it's more, as they would say in America in some places, it's more sizzle than steak.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I see that our special correspondent, Paul, has been out in the field also testing biscuits.
He has, yeah. Paul was kind enough to, well, he told us yesterday that he had the golden caramel digestives. And, I explained to him, well, it's biscuit week, so maybe get your review in. These are only getting a 2 out of 10 from him. Which
really?
Is,
well, interesting.
Not very good. Now, he gave the gingerbread digestives, the ones that I had, a 9 out of 10. So, to give you some reference point, but thank you, Paul, for your report out in the field, because I bought 4 packs of biscuits, probably enough for me to buy in one go.
These are McVitie's that Paul tested, as opposed to yours are a different brand, I think.
So so McVitie's make the digestives, which is the good gingerbread ones I have.
Oh, I see at the top here. I saw, from your picture, I see that's the top one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put the picture in the show notes as
well.
Oh,
the other ones are Sainsbury brands, which is a grocery store brand, I assume, right?
It is, yeah. These are like an own brand one. So they're not, these aren't top quality. I'm giving all of these a thumbs down, except the digestives, I think.
Yeah. Well, digestives to me, whenever I hear that, I think that these are some sort of medical cookie or medical something or other. But they're supposed to keep you from having an upset stomach or heartburn or something like that. But they're really just cookies, right?
Firstly, I can't recall if we've spoken about this before. We may very well have done so.
I think we might have.
Apologies to long-time listeners, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm not going to look it up. I'm pretty sure these were originally made as like a digestive aid, as it were, like something to, so maybe not necessarily medical uses, but it was more for health than it was for for the nonsense that we eat now.
Yeah, well, that would make sense for something like ginger in particular, because ginger is often, people say if you're not feeling well, have some raw ginger or have ginger ale or have a ginger crisp or something like that,
So a rather disappointing biscuit week, actually. I'm
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe next year when Biscuit Week comes around in October again. We'll see how we go.
All right. Maybe I'll pick up some biscuits next time I go to the store. I was there yesterday. I did not see anything that caught my eye. I do think I mentioned the video game inspired potato chips that I saw a few weeks ago. Did not pick those up. They just looked disgusting, so I didn't go with those. The Lionel Messi chips are no more. They've been sold out. And I saw nothing else that was particularly good. So no new snacks from me today, folks. Sorry about that.
Oh, I would actually like to add on a little message here. People, stop telling me to buy the Monster Munch mayo. I'm not doing it. I told you last episode I'm not doing it. Somebody else has to do it.
Well, I'm glad I can't take the same harassment, since I don't think it's available here. Now just watch, somebody's going to find it available here in the United States. But I haven't seen it. I haven't exactly gone looking for it though either.
No, I'd be very surprised. I mean, you don't have Monster Munch over there, so the chance of you having the Mayo collab is unlikely.
Yeah. All right, Rob. It's time to dive back into the open web. I have a topic for you. And I know we've talked a lot in the past about social media in particular, and how that, and kind of the relationship between algorithmic feeds and the open web and, Fediverse versus things like Threads or Twitter or whatever it happened to be. And those conversations are always fraught because I think that there's something about social media. There's always a layer of moderation that comes along with a lot of the social media stuff that makes those conversations difficult to have, because it's very hard to separate the problems most of these services have with moderation from some of the other aspects of them and whether that's interesting or not. And so today, instead of talking about social media, I want to talk about something that maybe actually is social media disguised as something else, but that is YouTube. Ooh. Because so Mac Stories has a YouTube channel now, and it's been around since June. And initially, it was nothing but our podcasts, Ruminate's on there, for instance. And Ruminate's just on there as like an audio podcast. What YouTube does is it pulls in our RSS feed and then creates a video with, the video part is nothing but the show art. And, we do it because some people like to listen that way, and it's just convenient for them to do so. So why not give people the opportunity to do that? The numbers are not huge on YouTube, but the reason we went there with the shows wasn't primarily because of a study that shows that YouTube is becoming the largest podcast source on the internet. And while I think that is very much not true for most of Mac Stories podcasts, and in particular shows like Ruminate, the landscape is changing. So it makes sense to be kind of where people want you to be. So that's why we did it initially. I have since started posting short hardware reviews because I think having something that someone can look at adds to the experience of reading the review. And we have a couple of shows that actually have a video component, both NPC, Next Portable Console, which I do with Brendan Bigley and Federico, and Comfort Zone with Nilian, Chris, and Matt are both video podcasts. And so the video component of this, I guess, is growing. And I've been spending a lot of time thinking about YouTube, because this is like YouTube and all these services go very much to the heart of what I think about when I think about the open web, and I think about Mac Stories in particular, which is I don't want to ever be beholden to someone's walled garden proprietary system. On the other hand, there are always some services that you need to farm out to somebody else because you can't build everything yourself. And one of those that is, I think, a classic example is hosting video. It is not impossible to find a CDN solution that is somewhat economical to host your own video. But the reality of the world and the internet is that people go to YouTube to watch video. They don't really go anywhere else to watch video. Not even Vimeo as much of, it's kind of a shadow of its former self. And so when I started going down this road, I thought about, well, how are we going to do YouTube? Because one of the first things someone told me after we put up all the podcasts was, you should have a separate channel for every show. I was like, oh, no. I am not going to do that. I mean, I'm managing the YouTube channel pretty much by myself. The Comfort Zone crew handles their own stuff, but for the most part, I'm in charge of the channel overall. And so there's that logistical issue where I did not want to be managing 6 or 7 channels simultaneously. There's also kind of the identity angle of it, which is like, I want these to be I want this to all be like a Mac Stories thing, not like an individual, piece of content thing. I want it to be more than just, I want it to like the things to interact and to have a place for people to go to get lots of different stuff and also discover things that they might not have heard about that we've been doing before. And so in a lot of ways, I'm totally doing YouTube wrong. The way you do YouTube, I think the conventional wisdom is you find your niche and you feed it relentlessly with content that is tuned to the algorithm so that your videos take off, you get big, you get monetized, you show ads, and you get paid. And we're not doing that at all. I mean, I don't want to say that I'm not tuning things to a degree to YouTube. I mean, YouTube is a different beast than a blog. So there are things that have to be kind of done to fit within those, those confines. But to me, I view this, and this is where social media comes in. I view YouTube very much the way I view social media. Social media is a place where I go to, at least from a Mac Story standpoint, to promote what we do, to send people back to the website. YouTube is a place where I supplement and promote what we do to send people back to Mac Stories, or to send them to, the various podcast feeds or whatever it happens to be that we're doing. And so as a result, I don't think that the Mac Stories YouTube channel is going to get huge. We did cross the threshold of 1,000 subscribers over the weekend, which, for a channel that's 4 months old or so, that's not too bad. And it does seem to be growing fairly rapidly, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But I have decided that while I am trying to surf the algorithm a little bit with especially with some of the hardware reviews that are designed to send people back to Mac Stories, I'm not going to play the game of letting the algorithm dictate the content that we make. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. I find it kind of interesting. I find YouTube to be fascinating. It's like our 5th highest source of traffic on Mac Stories already. Mm-hmm. And that it drops off very fast after Google. So that's not saying a lot, but it was zero. But it was zero before. Mm-hmm. And now that we're in a world right now where I feel like the walls are closing in on the open web, in the sense that everybody who has always enjoyed the open web and had a blog or whatever has always enjoyed the benefit of basically free discovery via Google, and Google's just not doing its job anymore, at least not the way it used to. And so this is in part an experiment to find another algorithmic avenue to send people back to Mac Stories and discover it. Because as much as we love our audience we have, the audience is always changing. People drop off, and you have to continue to grow to some degree just to kind of maintain where you are. And where are you going to find those people? One way is algorithmically, and YouTube has been really good for that. I mean, I'd say that some of these hardware reviews have been 80% of the people are people who are just coming to it through YouTube. They're not coming to it through the site. They're coming, people will go to the site and they'll click on the video and watch it. And that's maybe 20% of the views, which is a healthy chunk. But if a video really takes off, it is always predominantly because it ended up on the YouTube homepage or people find it through search.
Yeah, I think you've definitely hit on something. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I personally, at least for Mastodon or my micro-blogging social media, shall we say, I do not want an algorithm, because an algorithm by definition is going to promote whatever gets the most interaction. And as we well know, what that usually means is outrage, stupid hot takes, that kind of thing. The kind of thing we're seeing on Threads at the moment. Even ignoring all their moderation problems, it is an absolute engagement farm at the moment.
Yes, it really is. Yeah,
but with YouTube is interesting because, when we work on the Mac Story site and you come to me and you say, oh, we want to do this thing or we want to do that thing. we're like, okay, well, there's the ways we can build this or whatever. If you came to me and said, we want to do video, I'd kind of be throwing my hands up in the air because I'm like, I don't know what that's going to cost. Like, video is so expensive to stream. Yes, there are CDN options, but I wouldn't feel confident saying to you, oh, it's only going to cost this much every month. Or, you know, if it gets really big, it's going to cost this much. Like, it feels like so much of an unknown number that video has to be on YouTube. There's nowhere else it can be. You can't put it on your own website. Like, people won't find it.
No, they won't. And not only is it the cost of storing it, but then you have to have your own video player, and there's no good way to share it then. And there's just a lot of issues that come along with trying to do it, reinvent the wheel for yourself there. Well, and to me, this is like an interesting conversation about algorithms because, and this is what I think about a lot. It's like algorithms to me are not inherently bad. I mean, I think that they can be inherently bad because they're only as good as the people who design them. And so they come with all the biases and things like that the people who create them have. On the other hand, there is a place on the internet for discovery, I think, and I think people want discovery. It's just how is the discovery done and to what end is it done? Because a lot of the engagement bait and stuff, that all happens because social media is trying to increase views at all costs to increase ad impressions. And that's kind of not the game I'm playing. I'm not, you know, I suppose if we get to the point where we can monetize the channel for Mac Stories, we will, just because people are going to see ads anyway. But that's not, I don't expect, given the fact that we're not playing the game the way successful YouTubers play it, I don't expect that will ever amount to anything more than pocket change. But I do think that, I mean, this is me using the algorithms against themselves. And like, there are these, you know, obviously YouTube doesn't want you to ever leave YouTube. Threads doesn't want you to ever leave Threads. The same is true with Instagram or X or whatever it is. Those things they want to be sticky. They want you to stay where you are and enjoy everything on their platform and not move. My whole job is to get people off of those and back to our website and checking out all the things that we do. And so it's a constant tension. And I think, though, that there is a place it is possible to use those algorithms against themselves, I suppose, and send traffic elsewhere, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. And as a result, I don't think we'll ever be super successful on YouTube. So I kind of go into it eyes wide open. But I do think it does give us the opportunity, at least, to get the name in front of people who maybe never have visited Mac Stories before. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about longevity on the internet. And, you know, if you sit on your audience for too long, they just burn off. It just is how the internet works. And I know people who are, you know, have a big enough audience and are far enough in their career who have said, you know what, I'm good. I'm just going to ride this out and then I'll shut off the lights one day. That is not what I want to ever do. I want Mac Stories to be around pretty much forever. And that's not an easy thing on the internet, but that's kind of why we're doing YouTube at the moment. It's an experiment. Who knows if it'll work? If it doesn't, we'll move on. But I think it's high time that we did it because I think there are things, I think it can add to what we do, especially, you know, it can be fun to watch a podcast. It's not my thing so much, but people do enjoy it. And having short videos that supplement what's written, and if people just want to get a look at something, sometimes that just works better than having a photo of it. So I'm kind of glad we're doing it.
Definitely for me. I mean, that is, you know, regardless of what's in the video, for me, if I'm reading a review of something, I love it if there's a video. Even if it's just, you know, even if it's a crappy camera and somebody's just unboxing the thing, at least I can see what it looks like, you know, in an actual hand. And you just don't get the same sense of that from a photo because you don't have the sense of scale or depth perception.
Right.
you know, I think you're doing your thumbnails wrong, though, John. You're not pulling a weird face and pointing at the product you're reviewing. You're not.
I haven't done that. We are actually doing thumbnail tests on some of the things that we're doing, which is kind of fascinating to watch. And so far, it's always been the one that I thought would win has won. Like, we usually have a couple of different variants for NPC. And today's video that I did about the Native Union Voyage charger for the iPhone and Apple Watch, that one has 3 different ones. I have like a clip of me from the video with some text on it. I have another one that's just the device with some text on it. And then I have a clip of me with a giant version of the device superimposed on it and some more text in kind of like orange, which is the closest I've come to like the pointing at a thing and having, like neon colors. I don't have my mouth wide open or any of those things that people say to do.
Yeah. So but that last one is the thumbnail that I've got at the moment.
Really? The orange one?
Yeah, the orange with the superimposed with the product in the corner.
It looks awful to me. But I thought this is a test. I mean, I could have made it a lot worse. Yes. This is a test. I want to see something that starts pushing towards typical YouTube thumbnails. I want to see something that I think is tasteful, and I want to see something that's like more just like a part of the video and see how the 3 do. So it takes a little while for those to come in. I don't know what the results are yet. It depends on how many views the video is getting, but it usually takes a couple of days. So we shall see. It's kind of, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to be trying something new. I always enjoy doing something new. I have come up a very steep learning curve in editing video, which is a whole new world for me. I'm doing almost everything entirely on the iPad right now, which is kind of fun. I've had a very Federico-like experience where people keep telling me that the iPad is limited. Why are you editing on the iPad? You should just use a Mac. So I now know what his life is like. And I totally get it. But you know what? Final Cut Pro on the Mac is super confusing and way more than I need. And the iPad is perfectly good. I mean, I think as I was telling you before we even got started, it's like, I mean, I want these videos to look good. On the other hand, I realize that people are just like putting it in a little picture-in-picture window in the corner of their Mac or their iPad or whatever, and they're only kind of half watching it anyway. It's like, it doesn't have to be, I'm not trying to be like an Oscar award-winning filmmaker here.
No. And as I said to you, that is literally what I do with every single YouTube video I watch. It doesn't matter what it is.
Hey, I was going to say, what I really like is the new video viewer on the Mac and Safari. Have you tried that at Sequoia?
No, I only upgraded like yesterday or the day before, so I haven't actually tried it yet.
Oh, it is so good, Rob, because one of the things is not only does it kind of like hide all the garbage on the sides of a site like YouTube, when you switch away to another tab or to another app, it automatically puts it in picture for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Just that little thing for me was amazing, because like a lot of times I'll be watching a video and maybe taking some notes for something I'm working on maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'll start watching on Safari, and I don't have to worry about like arranging my windows. I just flip over to a text editor to take notes, and bam, the video's in picture, and I can, move it around and resize it.
Yeah, that's great. You got some good videos here. So we'll link the channel anyway, because I've been enjoying the little sort of mini overviews that you've been doing to go along with reviews and stuff.
Yeah. Well, now that I have justified doing YouTube to myself, I never thought I would do video, Rob. I've talked about doing video with Federico for probably 7 or 8 years, and so suddenly the dam has broken, and we're doing it, and I'm already getting used to it. So that's good, I guess. I mean, you gotta grow and evolve.
Absolutely. Cool. Should we leave it there then for this week?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, we're back in a couple of weeks, and one of us will find some snacks, I reckon. I'm sure we'll find something.
I will go out looking for snacks. I promise I will find something tasty to eat.
Okay. All right. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.